Alright, hey guys, welcome to this session by Great Learning. My name is Anirudh Rao and I welcome you all for this session on Python for machine learning. Now guys, if you've clicked on this session, I am sure you already know the fantastic nature for Python and its superb applications for the domain of machine learning, right? So guys, without further ado, before we get started with the session, I just want a quick confirmation from all of you all to see, if we are audible, if you can see my screen fine, and if you can hear me fine as well. Alright? Well guys, quickly head to the comment section and type in a quick yes or a no if you can, of course, hear me fine, see my screen fine, so I know for sure that you all are having no issues with respect to the session. Can you guys quickly do that? Now, while you guys go on to do that, I want to take a second to tell you all that I am monitoring all the comments right now here using my mobile phone. So no matter what questions you might have, any sort of questions, right? Even the most beginner, simple questions that you might have with respect to machine learning or with respect to Python, please head to the comment section and put them down so that, I can answer them, right? Guys, a very important thing to note, as always, this is going to be a highly energetic and highly interactive session, right? So now I want all of you all to make sure that you are interacting with me all the time. Okay, so this is not a one-way session where I just sit and teach and you guys listen. I want all of you all to interact with me, right? Okay, perfect. I have so many of you all giving me confirmation. Srishti Chauhan, Uday Kumar, Shakti Priya, Akshay, Sumit, Manish, Srishti, Katharina. Okay, so I have a lot of you all giving me yeses. Perfect, guys. Good afternoon. I hope you guys are excited on this Monday afternoon. It's a beautiful day here in Bengaluru where we can get started to learn this fantastic domain, right? But then guys, before we go ahead with the agenda of this very, very, very interesting session, I have so much planned for you guys in terms of theory and of course practical hands-on, where we'll be taking a look at two important machine learning algorithms as well, right? Now, before we go on to do that, let me take a minute of your time to guide you about this fantastic venture we have at the Great Learning called as Great Learning Academy. Now, you might be wondering, okay, what is Great Learning Academy? Well, first of all, Great Learning Academy is a fantastic place. It's a venture here that we have at Great Learning where we are trying to provide a lot of things, the highest quality of learning material possible from our side for all of you all, again, to learn for free. So this is a medium where you can join along with 1 million other learners who join in from 160 countries, where they're completely making use of 1,000+ hours of free learning content that we're providing, and of course we get 3 million+ monthly views on all the content that you guys see on your channel, right? Now, to answer the question, Great Learning Academy is a place where we're providing you a ton of course certifications, certification programs such as this, absolutely free of cost, guys. Now, for example, since we're talking about machine learning, let me quickly click on machine learning, right? Python for machine learning is something which we're discussing. Let me click on this course. Now, the advantage here is we're providing 200+ courses, again, absolutely free of cost. You guys really do not have to pay anything, and you can see that this is a very popular program. We have 1.5 lakh people, who are enrolled into this particular course, right? You can check out all the details about the course, all the skills that are covered, and even the course syllabus, right? At the end of it, you're going to have a certificate of completion which looks just like this. And ladies and gentlemen, I know all of you all, and if you guys follow along with all of these sessions that we have here at Great Learning, you really should know that having a certificate of completion is a huge thing for yourself, right? You can put it on your resume, you can put it on your LinkedIn, you can put it, you can showcase it along with your resume literally for every interview that you guys go for, and it just shows that you are a person who has put in the right amount of time for this domain. And hey, this is completely free, right? That's the huge advantage, right? And not only that, we have so many things at Great Learning Academy for all of you all that, in fact, a lot of you all will be very much interested to have a career path, right? Now, some of you all want to have a career in machine learning. What are your options? To make that really simple, we have this Great Learning career path in front of your screen. So if you quickly click on machine learning, you can see that a machine learning engineer can definitely go towards three career paths. I'm going to quickly pick up machine learning engineer. You can see that currently there's 18,000 jobs in India, 9.5 lakhs per annum is the average salary, and 3.8 lakh learners are enrolled in our PG programs, which are again career transforming, right? You get a 48% average hike, and we have more than 2,000 people enrolled into this program right this month. But then to get to that level of sophistication, I highly suggest you all all, take a look at the free offerings that we have here. All these free courses, right? This is the perfect start to your journey to become a machine learning engineer. So all of you all can click on this, finish up all of these courses, each and every one absolutely free of cost. You'll get a certificate of completion for every single course you guys complete on Great Learning Academy, right? There's multiple more things you can check out about Great Learning Academy. Now, if I give you everything, I'm sure you guys will not go on to do your own research, right? Now, I want all of you all to head to the comment section right now and tell me if you guys have enrolled or if you guys have checked out Great Learning Academy or not. Guys, we have 162 people who are tuned into this session. I want all of you all right now to head to the comment section and tell me in the comment section if you guys have had a chance to complete a course on Great Learning Academy, right? Perfect. Now, on that note, let me quickly come back to the presentation out here while you guys answer this. What's the first thing you guys are excited to learn about Python for machine learning, right? Now, there are so many things that we're going to learn, so everything is equally exciting, I promise you guys, okay? The first thing that we're going to start out by understanding is why one should even learn Python, right? Now, Python is a huge programming language. Let us try to understand why we should learn Python for machine learning specifically, right? Once you understand why you guys have to learn Python for machine learning specifically, you will be very curious to know about the skills that are needed to go on to do just that, right? There are some skills which are very important for this domain. We are going to understand that. Once we understand the skills, you'll be like, okay, now I feel like I'm ready to understand a bit about machine learning. So can we have an introduction there? Of course, you guys can have an introduction. We're going to be discussing about machine learning quickly. We're going to be taking a look at the types of learning and all of that. Once we are done with a good amount of theory, what is going to add a ton of value to your learning is to show you guys how you can use Python with respect to machine learning easily using a code. In fact, we're going to be using one data set and two machine learning algorithms, right? The same data set, we're going to be using two algorithms to run to see which algorithm is more efficient for the data, right? It's a very, very, very interesting demo that I'm sure all of you all here are excited, right? Perfect. Now, checking the comment section, a lot of you all are telling me that you guys are, enrolled into these courses. Now, guys, I want all of you all to enroll. Now, we are putting out all these programs to make sure that you guys have access to the highest quality of learning material, right? It becomes important that you guys check it out. Okay, perfect. Now, can we get started? Let's go. The first thing I want to talk to you about, even before we discuss about why we should learn Python, is one or two very interesting facts about Python. First most important fact is that Python is the world's most popular programming language, right? You guys should not have any doubt about this by now. You're literally learning the world's #1 programming language. Now, why is that the case? We're going to discuss. First of all, Python, the name, right? How did the name of the programming language come about? The name, in fact, does not come from the snake, right? Python, there's another snake. It's called Python or Python or however you would spell it. No, that's not how the programming language got the name. The creator of Python, his name is Guido van Rossum. He actually was watching a very famous TV show back then called as Monty's Python Circus. And to give a tribute to the TV show, he named his programming language as Python, right? So Python was actually a name which was present in the TV show. It's a circus TV show that he used to watch. How cool is that? Right, now you guys are watching this on YouTube. I am sure you guys have also watched multiple TV shows and movies, etc. on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Z5, all of these portals, right? If you have watched all of the movies, TV shows there, guess what? You would have used Python. For all the people who are tuning in, into this session using Google Chrome browser, Mozilla Firefox browser, you are using browsers which are using 200 and let me give it to you in lakhs. 2.5 lakhs of lines of code, right? 2.5 lakh lines of code are required to make Google Chrome work, to make Mozilla Firefox work. So since you're using these products to watch the video, you're using Python right now, right? And of course, it should come as no doubt to you that this is again a programming language which is very, very, very popular for data science, right? Perfect. After that, regardless of data science, regardless of machine learning, regardless of any other domain, Python is a programming language that is used by hundreds of thousands of companies out there right now. When the stakes are this high, ladies and gentlemen, when people are so much into using Python, the biggest advantage comes to you. I'll tell you this. the most highest paying programming jobs right now in the world, where there is always a demand, people are wanted consistently. This is for Python. You will have an amazing job with a ton of salary, a lot of benefits, an amazing industry you'll be working with, and best of the things is you will have fantastic career growth with respect to this programming language. That is the huge advantage of you guys, learning Python. So I hope you guys are really excited, at this moment in time. All right, perfect. Now let's get into an important part of the session where we have to understand why you guys should learn Python, right? Now, the first reason that I can think of to tell you guys about, to convince you about why you guys have to learn Python is that it's a purpose-built programming language. I'll give you a very simple example. Think about a nut. Think about a bolt, right? A nut and a bolt usually fit together. They are meant to work together. Similarly, Python is a programming language that was built keeping machine learning in mind. And now Python is not a new programming language. Machine learning is not a new concept. So back in the time when it was actually created and how it was improved, it was kept in mind saying, hey, in the future, if we have very powerful computers and if we have machine learning which can help us achieve artificial intelligence, can we create a programming language that simplifies the process? Guido van Rossum, the founder of Python, said yes to this, and he created a programming language that is so beautifully made. The syntax is so easy that it feels like Python was built just for the case of machine learning. How fantastic is that, right? The second thing, I have important points here for you all. First of all, whenever you're working with machine learning, today as learners, all of you all may be working on small projects. You're using small projects to learn. Now, what happens when you use large projects and when you're working on large projects, right? Now, when you're working on large projects, it becomes important that it doesn't become super difficult for you to solve the program there, considering that you're using a programming language, right? It doesn't mean that for an easy solution, Python is very easy to use, but it's for a difficult solution, the syntax is horrible. No. In this case, Python is built to scale. Regardless of you have a small program or you're writing a big program or anything as such, Python will maintain the same easy level of syntax throughout. That's an advantage. The second thing is it's an open source programming language. It means that you really do not have to pay the creator of Python to use Python. It's free to use, right? The next thing you really have to understand here, ladies and gentlemen, an important point is that it's an interpreted programming language. Now, when I say an interpreted programming language, what do I mean? Now, guys, here is where I want all of you all to head to the comment section again and tell me if you have used any other programming languages, right? So, guys, have you used any other programming languages, be it in terms of C, C++, Java, or any other programming language? I want to know. Can you guys head to the comment section and let me know about it? Perfect. Okay, cool. Now, if you're taking a look at the next point that's given here, it says it's built for dynamism. That is exactly what I just mentioned right now, right? Today you're working on a small program, you can use Python easily. Tomorrow you're working on a bigger program, you can still use Python. That is the huge advantage here, right? Perfect. Okay, let me quickly take a look at my phone and Shweta asks, how long is the session? Shweta, the session is for 1 hour. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have fun. Abhishant and Abhirai are saying, can you please speak a little in Hindi? Well, guys, this session is planned for the entire audience in English, but I'll definitely take your feedback. We can have this session in Hindi also, right? Now, how many of you all would want this session in Hindi? Can you just head to the comment section and type a quick yes so that our team who are monitoring the particular video can get to know about that? Can you please head to the comment section and let us know? Alright, perfect. Now I had to get a quick gulp of water to talk to you about 3 more fantastic reasons of why you guys should learn Python. The first thing is it has a huge programming language library, right? A library is what makes a programming language special, and Python has thousands of it. So it is absolutely amazing to even think about that fact. The next thing is large community. See, if something is the world's #1 thing, in this case Python is the world's #1 programming language, don't you think it means that a lot of people would be interested to take a look at it, especially if it's free? So yes, this creates a very huge community, an absolutely vast community which is super friendly, super enthusiastic, and super welcoming, right? So no matter what level of learning you guys are doing, as soon as you get into the Python community, even your most simple, or even you might feel like, hey, my questions are silly, can I ask them? Even the most silliest questions you ask, you will find genuine help from each and every one in the community. That is one of the reasons why I absolutely love Python, right? Okay, perfect. Now we have to discuss one important thing here, ladies and gentlemen. One important thing here is uh, you are learning machine learning, you are learning Python. What are some of the skills that you should develop along the way while you guys are doing this, right? Now it is guys, it is common sense when I say, hey, you require a programming language, you need to learn Python, you need to learn data types in Python, you need to learn operators in Python. See, all of these things you guys might already know. What are some of the skills that you think were not important but they are extremely important, right? I want to discuss that. Perfect. So check out these things. First of all, whenever you are very serious about working with Python and you want to have a career in machine learning, please understand this. There is a lot of data involved whenever you're working with this thing, right? Whenever you're working with this domain. So whenever you're working with a lot of data, you need to have a structured plan and an approach that you will take to how you will handle this particular data, right? It's not just like you randomly start pulling data out and doing things to it. No, you have to have a plan. You have to have a manifest saying, hey, this is the data, this is how the data is going to come in, this is how I'm going to work with the data, and this is how we're going to push it out, right? That's an important skill you guys must build. Now, after that, the next thing that you guys should be thinking about is out of the box thinking. Now, I'll give you a very, very, very silly example, right? It'll sound stupid, but trust me, this example is very important. Let's say, I want to get ice cream. It's a super hot day and I'm sweating right now, correct? So, if I have to get ice cream and the ice cream shop is maybe 100 meters away from my street or from my house, I can directly walk to it. I can probably take a longer route to it, or I can take an absolute meaningless route, which is maybe like, me traveling 100 kilometers just to go to the same ice cream shop, right? You realize this? The problem is very simple. I want to eat ice cream. The solution is not just me going there and eating it. That is the best solution, correct? But there are other solutions as well. Now, you need to have this capability to say, hey, okay, so if there is one problem, can I have multiple ways of solving this problem? That thinking, that skill is very much necessary here, right? Okay. Okay, 99, please do not, spam the comment section. We are going to be answering all your questions, but make sure, do not spam the comment section, right, guys? It's very important that all of you all, and of course the learners alongside you, also get to learn, right? Okay, perfect. Now, the third thing that you really need to understand here is logic building skills. How can one go on to understand that, hey, this is how you go on to work on? See, I'll give you a very simple example. Python is a simple programming language on how very without much effort you can give a solution out, correct? But what's the most difficult thing that will take a lot of your processing power? It's about how you solve the problem. It's the logic behind the programming language. It's the logic behind your solution, right? That is what is required. That is a skill. Anyone who is trained can write Python code. I will guarantee that. You know the difference between a good programmer and a great programmer? A great programmer has the capability to write logic in multiple different ways to solve the same program. How fantastic is that, right? The last thing that you guys definitely need to take a look at is the ability to scale up quick. That's what I mentioned at the start of the session as well, right? So today you're learning a programming language, maybe in its, you work in its basics, or you're starting out at the fundamentals. Tomorrow you will have to learn all the advanced stuff. So does it get difficult then? No, this is a skill that you will actually learn while you guys go on to, understand this entire Python for machine learning. Today you will start out slowly, and tomorrow you will slowly start learning more and more, doing more things. Even those things will sound very, very complex right now if I get into the detail. Maybe at the end of the session, you will feel like, oh, okay, so this is something I know, right? That is exactly how you grow through it, and that is the skill that all of you all should be gathering by now, right? Perfect. Alright guys, now let's get started with machine learning. Very quickly, I'll give you an introduction and we can get right into taking a look at the demo. Right now, the demos are all absolutely fantastic out here. Now, the first thing we want to understand is what is machine learning? Machine learning, guys, in fact, you head to the comment section and can you quickly tell me what machine learning is? Can you head to the comment section, and we have 250 people watching the live session right now. I want all of you all to tell me what you think machine learning is, right? Perfect. Pulkesh Sood says, sir, can you please show some programming examples also? Pulkesh, absolutely. As soon as we are done discussing this section, we are going to take a look at code itself. We are going to be taking a look at example pieces of code. In fact, 2 algorithms. So make sure you guys are there. All right. Perfect. Now, machine learning is one of these processes where we actually get a computer to do a task for us. Now, when I say that, what do I mean? Basically, it's it's a program which can actually automate tasks and it can learn something on its own. Whenever you have something that learns on its own and understands something, we usually have the term saying it's intelligent, right? Similarly, machine learning is how we can go towards artificial intelligence, right? To achieve artificial intelligence, we have to go through the process of machine learning. So this is where you will be teaching your machine to look at some new data, learn the data on its own, understand on its own, and eventually tell us what it understood, give us some insights, solve the problems for us, and so much, right? So basically, yes, that is machine learning. The goal is to make sure we can use our machine, an entity which we think that it is super intelligent, to make sure to work for us, right? Perfect. But then to do that, we need a ton of data, right? We need a lot of data. Where do we get all of these data? Now, whenever we're usually trying to solve a problem, data is usually gathered or data is usually collected, right? Now, what do we do with data once it's collected? Once it's collected, we make sure that it is available as and when our machine learning algorithm requires it. Again, I'm going to show all of this to you practically as well, right? Before that, we need to quickly understand the 3 types of learning that we have in terms of machine learning out there. First, we have supervised learning. Second, we have unsupervised learning. And third, we have reinforcement learning. Now, when I say supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning, do you guys know how each of these things work? Well, if you do not, don't worry. I'm going to explain it in a very, very, very simple fashion for all of you all to understand, right? Perfect. First of all, let's quickly look at supervised learning. What is supervised learning? Well, supervised learning in the name itself is saying that, hey, when something or someone is learning, there is some sort of supervision. Someone is taking a look at it, right? Just like when you are studying, your parents are looking at you, or whenever you were a child and you were studying, your parents would have guided you then, right? Or even teachers for that matter. So here what's happening is I have 3 images on the screen right now: flowers, dumbbells, and an image of a car. Now what I'll do is, if I take these flowers, dumbbells, and car, just the images, just the photos, and feed it to my machine and say, hey, what is this? Guess what will happen? My computer, even though it is the most fastest, most intelligent thing right now, it will not understand that this is a flower, this is a dumbbell, and this is a car. Why? Because it has not learned what it looks like. Now, I have learned what all of these looks like. You all have learned all of these look like, but the computer doesn't. What do? Instead of just sending it photos and saying, hey, computer, guess on your own, what I'll do right now is I'll also give it a little label. A label is basically me telling, hey, this is exactly what it is. Now, instead of just sending the image of a flower, I will send the image of a flower, and below that I'll say, hey, computer, this is flower. These are all flowers. Similarly, for dumbbells, I'll send it a couple of images of dumbbells, and every time I give it an image, I describe the image. Similarly, for a car. This way, the learning is basically it just sees the image, it knows what it is, and using this it will learn, so that the next time you send it another picture of a car, another picture of a dumbbell or a flower, it can guess that. But to guess that, it has to learn. To learn, we do this in supervised learning, right? Now, there's 2 types of supervised learning. One is regression and one is classification. Don't worry, I won't get into the complete details of any of these. My point here is to make sure that everyone watching this video can take away something about machine learning and Python, right? So, since we're talking about the grouping in supervised learning is grouped into 2 things: regression and classification. Regression is a superb application, I'll tell you why. In fact, we are going to check out regression practically just in the next section as well, right? So regression is basically how you can predict something that's going to happen in the future, keeping the values or keeping the data from the present or from the past. I'll give you a very, very simple example that you can do this right now. You can use regression this very second. In your mobile phone, all you have to do is say, hey Google, what's the weather like tomorrow? What is tomorrow's weather? Ask your phone this one. It is intelligent enough to tell you tomorrow's weather, even though you literally cannot tell tomorrow's weather unless it's tomorrow, right? Simple. That is regression, and your phone will use regression there to answer your question. The next thing is classification. Classification is something that all of us can do. If I give you 3 apples and 4 oranges, and if I mix it up and say, hey, can you please categorize this based on fruit? You will keep all the apples to the left side, you'll keep all the oranges to the right side. Is that possible or not? Yes, right? Similarly, this is what goes on in the back end of supervised learning as well. Now, we spoke about supervised learning. Let's quickly talk about unsupervised learning. Unsupervised learning is where I am not telling the computer what the images are. I'm just sending image of flower, dumbbell and car, and I'm just giving these 3 images. My computer has no idea what these are, okay? So I just give it these images and I say, hey computer, please guess what this is. Try to find a pattern for me. Try to see if you can see the structure of data present in the image, right? Now, with this you might think, hey, will it not make it more difficult for the computer to learn this way? The answer to that is yes. Unsupervised learning is a little different in terms of how it learns, because I'm just sending it these images and I'm saying, hey computer, please learn. The next time I give you an image, you're supposed to tell me what it is. This way, your learning is in fact even more in depth. Rather than just giving you a problem statement and just giving you a solution to the problem statement, here it is giving you the structure of data. That is what makes your computer very, very intelligent, right? And again, in supervised learning, it's divided into 2 groups. We have clustering and association. Again, I promise you, you guys have used both. Clustering is when you're grouping all input variables with similar characteristics. I'll tell you an example. Now, let's say you just had to go to school. When you guys were in school, you were allowed to use only 1 or 2 pens, right? Black color and maybe blue color. You were not supposed to use red and you were not supposed to use green. So if I gave you all 4 pens and say, hey, can you please tell me which are the pens that you can use for your examinations? What will you say? You'll pick up black, you'll pick up blue. That's clustering. Simple. Next is association. Association, I promise you guys have used again, right? So every time, have you ever watched TV shows on Netflix or Amazon Prime, where as soon as the end of that episode or anything, it'll automatically jump to the next thing. Once you finish an entire movie, it'll automatically start some other movie which is very similar to the old one that you just watched, or it has the same actor or something like that. Have you ever been in this situation? In fact, even YouTube does it, right? It has auto recommendations. If you're listening to a song or in fact watching one of our videos, the next recommended video will also be of something similar. How does YouTube know? How does Netflix know? How does Amazon Prime know, or whatever, right? They use unsupervised learning to learn here, and that is how they can say, hey, if people have watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that's a TV show, people might also watch something like Schitt's Creek, right? Simple. That's unsupervised learning. Now, to quickly talk to you guys about reinforcement learning. Now guys, to talk about reinforcement learning, can you guys quickly head to the comment section and tell me in the comments if you guys have had dogs, pet dogs and pet cats. If you have it, quickly go to the comment section and say a yes or a no, okay? Okay, perfect. Now, while you guys go on to tell me if you have had cats and dogs before, I'll tell you why I asked you this question. Reinforcement learning works very similar to that. Here we use the feedback from the learning to make sure that we use that feedback itself as a learning learning methodology or a learning metric. Now, when I say this, I'll give you an example. Think about your dog. You just got a new dog or maybe a new cat. I'm not sure if it works with cats because I've tried it. It doesn't work. It works with dogs. I've tried it again. So with dogs, what happens is if you're training the dog to give you a handshake, right? If you want the dog to give you a handshake, what do you do? Or what do trainers do? They usually try to get a handshake from the dog, and as soon as the dog gives a handshake, they usually give the dog a little biscuit. Have you seen that? A biscuit or a small doggo treat or whatever it's called. They give something like a reward to the dog. Now, why do they do that? They do that to program the dog in a way saying, hey, if the dog ever gives a handshake, the dog knows that, hey, you know what, I'm going to get a reward. Similarly, here also, your machine learning algorithm will work towards solving the problem always. If you literally drop the machine learning algorithm in like a puzzle, it will know how to solve the puzzle, because every time it gets closer to the solution, it is getting more and more rewards. So what will it do? It has to work on maximizing the reward that it gets. But what happens if it works in the other direction? It is not always that it will work correctly, right? Sometimes it will work incorrectly. If it works incorrectly, it is not given a biscuit, right? So if the dog does not give you a handshake and if the dog runs away, it is not like you will run behind the dog just to give it a biscuit, right? No. If it gives a handshake, it gets a reward. Similarly here as well, algorithms, if it works towards the solution or if it works towards giving you the result that you want, you will give it a reward. And at the end of it, if it works towards maximizing the rewards, it means that it is trying its hardest, most efficient way to give you a solution. That is reinforcement learning. Right now, instead of just giving you a simple understanding of how it all works technically, I thought this example should give you the best thing, right? Lavesh says, is it live or is it recorded? Lavesh, this is an absolutely a live session. I can see, in fact, all of your comments. So I'm actually checking out every single one. And yes, Lavesh, I'm reading all the comments that are being put down as well. Now, look, you have 250 people tuning in, and you guys are absolutely killing it in the comment section, right? So I'm just passively, browsing through it. But yes, sometimes if I find a very interesting question that I'll pick it up and I'll explain. For example, see, Kanya has asked, saying, hey, can you explain all algorithms with implementations too? Well, Kanya, we already have a video on that. I have made a video on that. It's on the Great Learning YouTube channel. Make sure to check it out. Okay. Wasim says, can reinforcement learning be dangerous for human mankind? Well, Wasim, at this moment of time, whatever machine learning program you write, it is as good as the programmer itself. So trust me, right now you have nothing to worry about this particular, this particular domain or how something might work against us right now. Okay, a lot of you all are saying we are new students. Okay guys, superb. Welcome to the session. This is where now we are going to get our hands dirty and quickly take a look at things practically, right? Now guys, whenever I am going to give you this practical demo, my point here is to just show you how easy it is to use Python for machine learning, right? Now, if I have to explain all the lines of code, it's definitely going to take more than 1 or 2 hours just to tell you guys what Python is doing. Now, if I do that, for the people who do not understand Python, for the people who might not know a bit of intermediate level Python, you guys can find it difficult. So what is the point there, right? To make sure that every one of you all understand, let us actually solve a problem, but let us do it in a simple way such that everyone here understands that. Perfect? Let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do with machine learning using Python is I'm going to be taking a look at two important algorithms. One is linear regression, second is KNN algorithm. The first thing that we're going to take a look at, as I just mentioned, is linear regression, right? Now, when I say linear regression, what are we doing in terms of using linear regression? To get to that, let's quickly discuss what regression is. Now, do you remember a couple of minutes back when I discussed regression, what I said? We are trying to model a target variable based on independent variables, or in other terms, we are trying to predict the future using the data that we have at hand, right? I hope we are clear with that. The second question you'll ask is, okay, so why are we learning linear regression, Anirudh? Why can't we learn something else? First of all, linear regression is something which is super popular. It is one of these algorithms that will help you find a cause-effect relationship between variables. When I say cause-effect relationship, let me give you a very simple example. If I have to find out if it will rain right now, what should I do? I just have to climb the steps up, go to my terrace, take a look at the sky. If the sky looks super dark and super filled with clouds, there is a good chance that it might rain. So the cause of the rain is the clouds and the effect is rainfall, right? Now, one example I gave you, you can think of hundreds and hundreds of examples where something is a cause and something is an effect, and there's a relationship between this cause and effect, right? That's the reason why we're taking a look at linear regression. Now, to actually implement the linear regression algorithm, we're going to take a look at a fantastic data set called as the Boston housing data set. Now, with the Boston housing data set, what we're trying to do is simple. Let me explain. The first thing we want to do is, let's say we want to buy a house. Now, whenever I want to buy a house, or whenever you want to buy a house, or in fact anyone, right, what you guys will do is you'll try to see the area of where the house is located, how safe is the area, are there any thefts, how big is the house, how old is the house, what are the taxes you'll pay, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many car parking spaces. So you'll take a look at a ton of things before saying, hey, that house is worth the price, or that house is not worth the price, right? So we're going to use machine learning to tell us if it can predict the price of the house, fine or not, using linear regression, right? Perfect. Let's get started with it. Let me quickly open up my Jupyter notebook. So basically for this session, I'm going to be using Google Colab. Google Colab is again a Python Jupyter notebook that is hosted on the Google Cloud platform. So right now I can write Python code from my laptop. I can immediately take all of these to my phone. I can be at a Starbucks. I can literally be everywhere, anywhere where I have an internet connection. I can sit and write Python code. That's the reason why, I use this one. Okay, perfect. Now guys, what is the first thing that I told you about? First thing is we're going to use linear regression. We're going to be using the Boston housing dataset. So let's take a look at the dataset. But as soon as I run this right now, right, as soon as I run this piece of code, it's going to say, hey, there's an error. See, I told you there's an error. Now, why is it giving me an error? It says, hey, you are asking, you want to input the data set. You want to input the entire data, but I don't have the data. But then the data is in my local computer. Now I have to upload it to the Google Cloud, right? Let me do that in 1 second there. On the left, can you see this housing.csv file here? Housing.csv file is the data set that I'm going to use, right? I'm going to import, let me just clear the output here again. Perfect. Now, we're importing NumPy because it's NumPy is a fantastic library for numerical computations in Python. We have Pandas. Pandas we're going to be using if you're working with statistical computation and if we require data types such as series, Dataframes, and all of that. And sklearn. Guys, can someone tell me the full name of sklearn if you guys know it? Can you guys head to the comment section and tell me the name of sklearn? Okay, this is a very important library for machine learning. It's actually called as scikit-learn. Right now, let me hit play on the data set and you can see a ton of these, right? So this is basically an Excel data that's showed in front of you right now. So what does CRIM mean? CRIM basically means the crime rate, the amount of crime that takes place in an area. Now, if you usually go to buy a house in an area where there is a ton of crime, of course the house price should be less just because of the fact that there's a lot of crime happening in that area. Correct? No house will sell for a very good price if there's crime in that place. No, right? And there's so many things that we're going to take a look at. The next thing we're going to take a look at is how many rooms, what is the age of the house, what is the amount of tax, right? So if there is a house, there is property tax to it, right? So how much of tax are you guys paying? There is so many things that we're going to take a look at to understand if your house is worth the money or not. And I think the biggest thing, right, the most important thing that would hurt something is crime rate, because I wouldn't buy a house where there's a lot of crime. Secondly, I wouldn't buy a house that is very old. And now you can see that there is one house here that is like 100 years old, 85 years old, 96 years old. Now if you guys have ever gone to Europe or a couple of places in the United States, this is very common, having houses which are built very long back ago and they still stand and work fine. Right now, that's our data set. The next thing we need to do is pre-process the data. When I say pre-process the data, we might have to try to clean the data a little. If you do not clean it, if you just publish it as it is to your machine learning algorithm and you give it to learn, if your data is wrong, your machine learning algorithm will learn it wrong. To make sure it doesn't learn wrong, I just want to see if we have any empty spaces here. Since it says 0 for all of the columns that we have, this is a data set which has already been cleaned. I do not have to do any sort of manual cleaning, and that is a good thing for me. Okay, now what's the next thing that I'm going to do? Now my data set is ready. Okay, my machine learning model is ready to learn. to make sure that I give it the data for the machine learning algorithm to learn, I split the data into two things. 70% of the data goes for training the machine learning algorithm and 30% goes for testing. Now, when I say 70% is going for training, what I mean is that this is the actual data that the machine learning algorithm is going to run through and use to understand. It is like you guys have to write an exam in your college, so you guys are given textbooks and notes and all of that to learn, right? Similarly, I am taking 70% of my data set and I'm giving it to the machine learning algorithm right now, saying, hey, please use this to learn. Later, I'll give you a test. Let's see if you pass the test or not, right? So I'm hiding 30% of the data. Now, as soon as I hit play here, the data is again split into 70, 30. It already sees 70% of the data to learn, and 30% I am holding back to see if it has learned anything or not, right? Now, guys, in the comment section, you guys might be asking a question saying, okay, so do I require maybe like 100 lines of code to solve or work with the Boston housing dataset? I'll be very honest with you. This is the fun part of Python. Look at this. Can you see these 3 lines of code? The lines of code that are in black right now? These 3 lines of code are responsible for actually using the linear regression algorithm, for actually training the machine using the training data, and also after it has trained, it will perform predictions to see if the machine has learned anything or not. Now see, as I told you, I will provide it training data, right? X underscore train and Y underscore train is me giving it the training data to train the model to learn. Once it has learned, I want to give an examination to the model to see if it has learned anything or not. That is where I perform prediction. In prediction, if you can see, I am not giving it the training value anymore. I am giving it the testing value, right? I'm giving it a test. This is where it sees brand new data, and if it has understood anything, it will tell me, hey, I've either learned or not. Now, as soon as I click this plus, done. My machine learning algorithm has learned it. It has done its predictions and everything. The next thing that I have to do is just print out an error value to say, hey, this is the performance of the machine learning algorithm. Now, there's a concept called as MSE, mean squared error, and there's so many errors out there. The goal you always have to think about is whenever there is an error, what do? We make sure that there is minimal error, right? In any scenario, not just machine learning. Similarly, here also we need to make sure that this value that we get is the minimum value. Well, right now when we use machine learning, we have a value of somewhere around 5.54. This value does not mean anything as it is, right? Just you just keep it in mind right now. 5.54. We are going to use the exact data set, and when we use KNN algorithm, you guys will understand which one is better, right? So to do that, quickly to talk about the KNN algorithm, let me talk to you about what it is. Again, right, it's basically inserting new data at one point and trying to map a relationship between its neighbors, between the nearest neighbors for that particular data, to see how this data is behaving, to see how, we can map a relationship between a new point of data and a couple of already existing points of data to see how we can work with, right? Now, if you did not clearly follow what I mentioned, let me give you a beautiful example. Here, what we're trying to do is, this is just a theoretical example, guys. First of all, I want to see if a person, I just have height and weight of a person, and I want to see using this height and weight if that person is a male or a female. Got it? I will give you a height. I will give you weight. You have to guess if this person is a male or a female. Now, I already have certain data here. In fact, I have data for 7 people here, okay? Height of 7 people, weight of 7 people, and out of these people, there are certain males and there are certain females as well, right? As you can see, there are 4 males and 3 females right now. Now, all of this is fine. I already know who's male, who's female here. What I will do right now is intelligently I will add one more person with the height 190 and weight 100. Now, I do not know if this person is a guy or if it's a girl or anything like that, but all these 7 things that we just had, I have plotted it on this graph with height on the y-axis, weight on the x-axis. Look at this, right? So here, this group of green dots that you see, these are all the males. These pink triangles that you see, these are the females, right? Now, we have already checked out this and we have just plotted it out. Now, let me add the 7th person out here, the 8th person, sorry. So when I add the new data that I just showed you, which is closer to this particular data point? Do you think all the males are closer to it, or all the females are closer to this particular blue color rectangle here, right? Is it the males or is it the females? It looks like as soon as I take a look at this, I can say, hey, this data point is very close to the males, so I guess that this person is a male, right? But then to make sure we use KNN algorithm, what we do is we actually plot nearest neighbors out of it. So if I say K nearest, KNN algorithm, the K there is actually a value. So if I say K equal to 3, what I want to find out is the 3 nearest neighbors from that particular point of data to my new person out here. Now from here, all the three lines that are pointing are from males itself. So my algorithm will tell me, hey, this person is a male. Why? Because everyone else, the nearest closest people to that are all males, right? Now let me take K equal to 5. If I take K equal to 5, all the 4 males are of course the closest one to it, but there is also a female which is closest to it, right? But then, even then, if I take a look at it right now and say the blue color point, is it a male or a female? I can just say, hey, you know what, it's a male. It is showing very similar characteristics of being grouped into a male. Correct? But then why K equal to 3, why K equal to 5, why K equal to 7? Why should I not take K as an even value? Well, whenever usually there's only 2 classes in comparison, we always take an odd value of K. Now when I say an odd value of K is either 3 or K is either 5. The 2 classes in our consideration right now, if you take a look at your screen, is male and female, right? Only male is one class, female is one more class right now. Perfect. Okay, look at the comment section. All of you guys are taking a look at the okay, so you've given me perfect answer. Scikit-learn, yes. How much of MSc is acceptable? Prabjot Singh asks. Prabjot Singh, that's a beautiful question. Just hold on to that question in 1 second. In a couple of minutes right now, you will get the answer to what is good and what is bad here, right? M. Sharma says, sir, how to assume that K equal to 3? Well, that's a very good question, because right now let me quickly go into the code again to show you guys why K equal to 3, right? Perfect. Who asked that question? Let me just check the name of you. Prabjot Singh says, how much MSc is acceptable? That's a very good question. Okay. M. Sharma says, how to assume K equal to 3? Now I'm going to answer all of your questions right now. Okay, so guys, we already checked out linear regression. Now if you take a look at this particular line of code, this is exactly the same as what we did. Literally the exact same thing. So I'm just going to hit play again. We already saw the data set. We tried to see if we required pre-processing. We did not, right? Again, exact same code that we ran previously. And after that, we decided that we're going to give 70% of data to training and we're going to have 30% of data for testing. Now, if you are ever curious about how I did it in the syntax, you can see this parameter here called as test_skies equal to 0.30. Now, what I'm telling it is, hey, take my entire data set, cut it into 70% and send that for learning, send it for training, and remaining 30% just keep it for testing. That's what I've done, and that's how I set it like that. Right now, as soon as I run this, 70% of data for training, 30% for testing. This is again exactly the same piece of code that we took a look back. Now, the next thing where the changes come in is these 3 lines of code, right? Let me zoom in a little more so you guys can see a screen, right? Look at this. NN equal to K nearest neighbors of regressors of 3. Whenever this regressor of 3 basically is the K value, right? K equal to 3 in this example. Next, I'm just giving it all the training data. This is where model fitting happens, as in this line is the reason why the machine even learns. After that, we have to check if it has learned anything or not. We have to perform predictions. To do that, what data do we provide? Training or testing? We provide testing data there, correct? So as soon as I go on to run this right now, as soon as I run this piece of code right now, my machine learning algorithm has learned. It has used K equal to 3 to learn, and it has completely finished its process. But how do I know that K equal to 3 is the best value? It may or may not be, right? So what I do is I train the same machine learning algorithm 50 different times. 50 times to see what is the best K value out here, right? On the left side, you will see the error values. On the right side, you will see the K values. Now, what is the lowest value that you see on your screen right now? Because in my case, the lowest value I see is 7.004 for K equal to 4, correct? This is the lowest value. Now what is this saying? This is telling me, hey, if you use k equal to 4 right now, you will have the lowest error in your particular solution. So k equal to 4 is the adequate k value here. How did I find it out? I did it using a process called as hyperparameter tuning. In hyperparameter tuning, I'll just run through it all to see how more efficient can I make my model algorithm, right? Now, as soon as I print the error value, you can see that the error value is what? 7.014 for the same data set using KNN algorithm, 7.04, right? But what was the error value when we used linear regression? When we used linear regression, the value was 5.54. Now, in this particular case, where is the error value lower? Is it less in linear regression or is it less in KNN algorithm? And which should you consider, right? Of course, you have to consider the value which is the lowest. In this particular case, linear regression algorithm is more efficient to work with our data, to work with the Boston housing data compared to the KNN algorithm, right? This is exactly what I wanted to show you guys in this particular demo, to tell you, hey, Python is a very simple programming language. Machine learning is a fantastic domain. So you guys can go on to learn it in an effective way. Right? Perfect. Okay guys, so with this we come to a section where you guys are definitely interested to learn more about these things, right? So what do? The most simple thing you can do is go to Google, type in learn machine learning. But when you do that, you will be given billions of search results by the time I do that, right? It is very, very important that you have to understand that machine learning is a huge domain. It's a really big domain. So for you guys to learn, you have to take it very slow. You have to keep it structured and make sure that you have you have a path and you have a plan to learn all these things, right? This is the reason. Ladies and gentlemen, now every time I ask you guys to subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel, this is the reason. Look at the last point here. Every time you get to talk with experts in the industry like me, you can understand what's happening in terms of learning and in terms of the industry as well, right? Let me give you an example. Now, right now in 2021, there are many tools which are popular, many techniques which are popular, and people are hiring based upon those skills. If I just tell you all the skills, there's a good chance that you may or may not get the job. But if I not only give you fantastic learning material, but also tell you, hey, this is what is required in the industry, and I tell you guys, please learn this, then you guys will go on to learn that and you will use it to the best of your abilities, right? That is exactly my point here. Whenever you guys subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel, you will be the first ones to get access to our content here. So as soon as you click on it, learn it, and then go on to use whatever you have learned, you guys are completely in benefit, right? So this is something I want all of you all to understand. It's not just that we are asking you to subscribe just because we have to. It's that the winner here is you guys at the end of the day, no matter what, right? So guys, do take a second to show us your support and hit that subscribe button. Now, there are so many advantages of you guys hitting that subscribe button right now, right? First thing is, you will be the first ones in the entire world to get a notification as soon as we put out a video. The second thing is, whenever we have live sessions such as this, you can talk with all of our subject matter experts. The third most important thing is, we will ensure to align your learning with exactly what is needed in the industry, right? Fourth, we'll give you very structured content that you guys can use completely. And see, right now we discussed Python for machine learning, such a complex concept to teach a beginner audience. But at the end of the time, hey, look, we still have 241 people watching this live session here. Thank you so much again for tuning in. But yes, looking at it, you guys can take a look at it and you guys can figure out the quality of content that we're providing, right? Not only that, a very important reason for you guys to subscribe is to make sure that you guys are showing your support, saying, hey, you know what, Great Learning, we want more videos such as this, right? For you to do that, you need to communicate that. Either put them down in the comment section, or you guys can show us your support by liking the video as well. On that note, coming to giving you guys more content, more free content on machine learning, we have 3 places where you guys can have access to fantastic learning content here in the Great Learning ecosystem. The first place is Great Learning Academy. Great Learning Academy is a fantastic place where we provide you courses for free. You can enroll into it for free, you can sign up for free, finish a course for free, and get a certificate of completion, again absolutely free of cost as well. And of course, since you guys are subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel, you will get all these benefits that I just mentioned, right? And of course, for the people who love reading blogs, we also have Great Learning blogs as well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, have you guys subscribed to the Great Learning YouTube channel yet or not? If you guys have subscribed, can you quickly head to the comment section and type in a quick yes? If you have not, it's okay. Head to the comment section and type a quick no. Now, while you guys do that, let me quickly walk you through to the specialization programs that you guys have to take a look at in terms of machine learning as well, right? So let me click on these career transforming programs that I want to guide you about. And since we're discussing about machine learning, let me pick up a fantastic program here. This is a post-graduation program in machine learning and artificial intelligence. This is a program done in collaboration with the University of Texas at Austin, right? The most interesting thing that you guys have to find out is after people who have enrolled into this particular program, we have had somewhere around 8,000 plus career transitions, as in people had a change in their job 8,000 times, right? Perfect. So we are tied up with 400 plus hiring partners who will help you with your job aspects. And of course, when you're taking a look at the salary hike for the people who have completed these programs, there is a 50% average salary hike, right? So you can see the name of the person, where he or she was working and where they went to after with the help of these particular program as well, right? So this is designed for working professionals and people who are just out of college, people who are looking forward to building it. And of course, even if you're a person who's in college right now, even you can make use of this program because this is a completely online program, right? Perfect. You will get a certificate which looks like this from University of Texas at Austin. Now you have to understand that University of Texas at Austin is number 6 in the entire world for business analytics, right? So this is a top university, and of course you'll get one more certification from Great Lakes, which looks like this, right? Now you can see that having 2 certificates which says this person has completed the post-graduation program and has done it with a certificate from University of Texas at Austin. Trust me, all the people here will definitely be interested in your profile, right? Coming to the curriculum, it's a very comprehensively put together curriculum. You can learn a ton of different things, right from the basics all the way to being a thorough expert in machine learning. Everything that I just mentioned: supervised learning, unsupervised learning. In fact, you'll be learning about model tuning, model selection, ensemble techniques, and even techniques such as recommendation systems, right? Now these are just the names of the modules that you guys will learn. Inside that, you will have a project that you guys have to finish, a quiz that you have to finish, multiple learning videos, and all of that, right? Next, again, you learn about artificial intelligence. You'll be learning about EDA. EDA basically stands for exploratory data analysis. There's this TSF, time series forecasting, deep learning, model deployment, reinforcement learning, and so much more. At the end of it, you'll be working on multiple hands-on projects, where in fact if you're working on the capstone projects, you will get your hands dirty with a real-time project, and you will not just do it on your own. You will have the guidance of the people that we have here, industry level expert guidance that we provide here at Great Learning, that you can have your mentors who can help you go on to work with your particular capstone project, right? Of course, after that, we provide resume building skills. We ensure we have mock interviews, 1:1 mentorship, and of course we give you access to an exclusive career fair as well. You can take a look at all the different projects that we go on to work on, and of course all the learner testimonials, what people have to say about us, and everything else, guys. Now this is a course that you're gonna have to do for 1 year online. It's a 12-month program, where it's completely personalized. You'll have weekly online mentorship sessions. You will get 225 plus hours of online learning content, and not only that, you will get dedicated access to so many of the products and services that we have here at Great Learning, which eventually make the difference of you guys becoming experts, you guys having access to really fantastic jobs and all that, right? We're gonna have live sessions, we're gonna have individual doubt clearing sessions with the experts as well, 30 plus practical case studies, and of course, again, as I told you, multiple perks of being a part of Great Learning. There's an application process that you guys have to go on to do. Firstly, you'll have to fill the application form. The form can be found here. I am sure the person monitoring the comment section right now will give you a link to this particular course. After that, there'll be a small interview process, and you have to join the program later on based on see, guys, this is a program that gets a lot of attention from everywhere around the world. We want to ensure that that your learning is of the highest quality. So we do select only a few candidates, and we ensure that you guys can learn. So make sure you guys are securing your seat as soon as possible, right? You can find out a section of FAQ, as in frequently asked question, where you can find a ton of other questions which people might also have, right? Perfect. On that note, let me quickly pick up one or two questions and we can go on to end this session, right? Okay. Shakti Priya says, thanks for your live and being more interesting and interactive. My one request is English language can reach more students to learn and understand. Thank you, sir. Well, Shakti Priya, yes, that's the reason why we had this session in the English language, so that a lot of you all can understand. But yes, I know that some of you all want the same session in Hindi as well. We can plan something around it. I'll make sure to put your request to the team as well, right? But then to get to that point, you guys have to subscribe and like the video too, right? Prabjot Singh says, are there any extra charges for capstone project? No, Prabjot. As soon as you go on to pick up the program, right, that is all the amount that you have to pay for us. Look, at the end of it, there's a place where you put in your name, you put in your email ID, mobile number, and your years of experience, and you hit submit, right? All we need is your name, mobile number, email, and your work experience. It's okay even if you're a fresher, if your work experience is 0, or you're a college student, make sure you mention that and hit submit. Now, the advantage of doing this is, as soon as you do this, in the next 4 hours, we will make sure someone from our own admissions office will give you a call, again for free. You can ask all the important questions that you guys want in terms of, hey, is this program right for me? Should I look towards data science? Should I look towards machine learning? Which program is the best? Why should I pick up this program? How will this program help me better, right? So you can have a one-on-one conversation with an expert from our team. All you have to do is scroll down to this website, make sure you put down your name, email ID, and for example, my name is Anirudh Rao. Email ID, I'll just put in my mobile number and years of experience. I hit submit, someone will give me a call, and you guys can reach out to our experts there, right? Perfect. Now, what else? Vishnu Jatav says, request, can you please give link for the dataset? Well, Vishnu, the Boston Housing dataset is again a very familiar dataset. It's an extremely popular one. It's available for free on the internet as well, so you can get it on Google too. Right. Balachan says, please tell me about fee details. Well, Balachan, again, I definitely suggest you just put in your details where I just mentioned in the slot, where you can actually talk to an expert to find out about the latest prices that we are running on these programs, right? Okay. M. Sharma says, is there any concession up to what extent? Well, M. Sharma, again, now to give you more information about the product itself, to give you more information about the course itself, and to tell you about either the price, to tell you about either the curriculum, or to tell you about the concession and discounts that you might get, I highly suggest you get in touch with the admissions team, because they are the people who are responsible for this. Right? Yashwardhan says, sir, are basics covered in this program? Well, Yashwardhan, it is not just the basics that are covered. You will go from being a complete beginner to being a complete expert, a thorough expert in machine learning and artificial intelligence once you finish that program, right? As I told you, it's an online program that you do for 12 months or 1 year. So that is something that you guys have to keep in mind as well. Mavuri Srinidhi says, you were excellent in the program. Thank you, sir. Well, Mavuri Srinidhi, thank you so much for your kind word. It means a lot to us. Please show us your support by subscribing to the channel and taking a second to like the video, right? Alright guys, on that note, thank you so much for asking all of your questions. As always, you guys were an absolute fantastic audience, right? Now, every time I come and teach you guys, I find it I find it a fantastic feeling to go on to do that for you guys, because each and every one of you guys will always go on to keep it interactive. You will make sure that, there is a nice discussion happening in the comment section. And guys, with this, I really hope that, everything that we have covered in this Python for machine learning session is clear for all of you all, right? On that note, guys, the pandemic is not yet over. Please make sure you guys are wearing your masks. Please make sure you guys are maintaining social distance, and of course taking your vaccines as well, right? So do everything to make sure you guys are safe from the pandemic, staying safe from the pandemic. And we are staying at home, learning from home, working from home, and everything from home basically, right? So this is the right time for you all. If you especially are a person who wants to start your career or change your career, it is no better time than right now to make sure you guys can learn as much as possible and eventually get your dream job, right? So guys, this is the perfect time to get started regardless of your domain, be it data science, be it cloud computing, be it machine learning, be it artificial intelligence, any domains right now. The job trends, right? We perform extremely in-depth job analysis every time we go on to create a video of that type for you guys, and we can already see the trends in terms of 2021 and in fact even 2022 as well. In fact, we have a video, we have multiple videos in the future where we'll be covering all of these things. To get to that point, you guys again have to subscribe to the Great Learning YouTube channel. Alright, perfect guys, thank you so much. Please stay safe. Thank you so much for all your interaction. This was a beautiful session. On that note, stay safe. I'll see you on the next one. My name is Anirudh and this is me checking out. Alright, thanks guys, see you.